Another fucking email. Not with the Illuminati. Goddamn Nigerians. This is Magister Bill M. from RadioFreeSatan.com, and you're listening to the Devil You Know podcast.
I don't know. What's happening, man?
None, man. What are you doing?
I'm talking to you, dude.
Nice.
That's about it.
All right, bye.
Start the show.
So what'd you do this week besides finish that wonderful painting?
I'll tell you what I did after I finished your painting. I decided I'm not doing any more shit for 2018. That's what I did. That's
Why?
exactly
Was it that taxing?
I said, you know what? I'm going to write a book. Nope, that's not going to happen. You know what? I'm going to do this other art project for Devil's Reign 3. Nah, I'll wait till Devil's Reign 4.
Really?
Yeah, I'm done, man. I need a break.
Damn it.
No.
But you're a producer.
I am, and I'm producing this show right now.
You're gonna say TV show, dude.
Well, we're talking about going video with the devil, you know.
Yeah. We should do it.
Should do it.
But
yeah, I say this now. You have to understand. This is me. I say I'm not doing any more projects for 2018. But in a couple weeks from now, when this thing's at your house instead of mine, and I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start a new project. I'm kind of bored. And my wife's gonna roll her eyes and be like,
Yep. Our guest this week's gonna have you. Is gonna hire you to come in and tattoo his things that you'll soon hear about.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Who knows?
You said things.
No, not his thing. His things.
Oh, yeah. I'm not tattooing your thing, John. Forget it.
Come on.
Keep asking.
You only have to do it once.
Well, let's talk to this guy and see what's happening.
All right, let's get on with the show.
All right, this week I have a very special book for you guys. It's called The Antichrist. It was written by Nietzsche, very famous philosopher most of us are familiar with, but I don't think a lot of you will be familiar with the actual history of this book, which we all know by the title that this book is against God and against Christian policies and philosophies of the time. But this was the work that Nietzsche wrote before he went crazy and hugged a cart horse and was caught dancing around in a room naked and sent off to his sister who was anti-Semitic. And so when you read this novel, it's actually really, really important that you check and see if this was abridged later on or if it's supposedly original, because there's a lot of controversy that his sister, who is anti-Semitic, changed a lot of this work around to suit her Nazi interests. The lesser-known speculation of this book is that it is a response to Dostoevsky, a Russian philosopher of the time's book, The Grand Inquisitor. And I find this believable because they pose the same questions, but they both have very different answers. Dostoevsky sent to fix religion and have a kind of mastermind, like a president, if you will, or a pope, a person of power that would lead the people in believing on in the lie of religion. And Nietzsche did not approve of this at all. In fact, he poked holes in it, and there are references to like Russian literature or even Dostoevsky himself throughout the Antichrist, even though he doesn't exactly come out and say that it's tag teaming with the Grand Inquisitor. The Antichrist, however, on its own is a great read. It comes from a time when science was rising and it posed a lot of questions for Christianity. Nietzsche wasn't the only one. In fact, There was another German philosopher, two Russian philosophers, a Swedish guy, that were all coming up with different concepts on how to make science and religion work together, or in Nietzsche's case, how not to, and that we needed to grow up and let science behind us. What Nietzsche's idea of corruption was, and that this was that anything loses its instincts when it chooses and when it prefers what is injurious to it. And he posed religion as being injurious to the individual in the advancement of the species and in the pursuit of truth. And that we should have science as the forefall instead of religion to hold ourselves accountable to. And he also notes in the beginning that religion used to be personal to each group of people, and that not only that their God exists, but that other people's gods existed too, and that they served their own. When Christianity and other monogamous religions started to rise, it stole this peaceful pacifism into our God is the only God of everyone, and started this kind of war amongst religions and who had to believe what, and this constant imposing of faith on other people that didn't believe what they did. That this God is merciful and pities us in the ultimate way of stealing a man's power, and it opens one to weakness while condemning what is strong and natural. Imposing these reverse ideals creates a slave mentality amongst people of self-denial and hive mindset, creating willful follow the leader and do as he says for the good of all, when truly it is the good of few. And this he references the Russian novels at first, I want to say, maybe 15 pages of the Antichrist, which is a clear point to Dostoevsky. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right. Just for the record, Russian is not my language. But there is a strong relevance in this book. It's historical. Looking through today's perspective, it is really easy to see with a modern eye the shortfalls of religion and Christianity. However, when this was written, it really opened the door to atheistic thinking. It combated philosophers of the time for relevance of religion, and something that's strangely still at hand in today's society. But also you have to think about how after Nietzsche went mad and his sister may or may not have discredited a lot of his work at the time, may have led to his ideas very much being pushed under the rug until modern times, when people were more open to the ideas of atheism and stepping away from the church. If we don't know our past, we are doomed to repeat it. And this work is a huge perspective into the past that I think is absolute for anyone who really wants to understand the concept of being against religion and stepping away from how society has constructed moral and ethical views around religion and religious concepts. And not even just that, but also in the aspect, if you read it against the Grand Inquisitor, it is also a great relevance of understanding how people of power use religious organization to conceal and enslave people into this mindset where they have to constantly give up gratification in favor of the greater good that really doesn't exist. And that's what I got for you guys. So hope you read it. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for your time.
Not all vampires suck blood. Satanism represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. Many people who walk the earth practice the fine art of making others feel responsible and even indebted to them without cause. Satanism observes these leeches in their true light. Psychic vampires are individuals who drain others of their vital energy. This type of person can be found in all avenues of society. They fill no useful purpose in our lives and are neither love objects nor true friends. Yet we feel responsible to the psychic vampire without knowing why. If you think you may be the victim of such a person, there are a few simple rules which will help you form a decision. Is there a person you often call or visit, even though you really don't want to, because you know you will feel guilty if you don't? Or do you find yourself constantly doing favors for one who doesn't come forward and ask, but hints? Often the psychic vampire will use reverse psychology, saying, "Oh, I couldn't ask you to do that," and you in turn insist upon doing it. The psychic vampire never demands anything of you. That would be far too presumptuous. They simply let their wishes be known in subtle ways, which will prevent them from being considered pests. They wouldn't think of imposing and are always content to willingly accept their lot without the slightest complaint outwardly. Their sins are not of commission, but of omission. It's what they don't say, not what they do say, that makes you feel you must account to them. They are much too crafty to make overt demands upon you, because they know you would resent it and would have a tangible and legitimate reason for denying them. A large percentage of these people have special attributes, which make their dependence upon you more feasible and much more effective. Many psychic vampires are invalids or pretend to be, or are mentally or emotionally disturbed. Others might feign ignorance or incompetence, so you will, out of pity, or more often exasperation, do things for them. The traditional way to banish a demon or elemental is to recognize it for what it is and exorcise it. Recognition of these modern-day demons and their methods is the only antidote for their devastating hold over you. Most people accept these passively vicious individuals at face value only because their insidious maneuvers have never been pointed out to them. They merely accept these poor souls as being less fortunate than themselves and feel they must help them however they can. It is this misdirected sense of responsibility or unfounded sense of guilt which nourishes well the altruisms upon which these parasites feast. The psychic vampire is allowed to exist because he cleverly chooses conscientious, responsible people for his victims, people with great dedication to their moral obligations. In some cases, we are vampirized by groups of people as well as individuals. Every fundraising organization, be it a charitable foundation, community council, religious or fraternal association, etc., carefully selects a person who is adept at making others feel guilty for its chairman or coordinator. It is the job of this chairman to intimidate us into opening first our hearts and then our wallets to the recipient of their goodwill, never mentioning that in many cases their time is not unselfishly donated, but that they are drawing a fat salary for their noble deeds. They are masters at playing upon the sympathy and consideration of responsible people. How often we see little children who have been sent forth by these self-righteous Fagins to painlessly extract donations from the kindly. Who can resist the innocent charm of a child? There are, of course, people who are not happy unless they are giving, but many of us do not fit into this category. Unfortunately, we are often put upon to do things we do not genuinely feel should be required of us. A conscientious person finds it very difficult to decide between voluntary and imposed charity. He wants to do what is right and just, and finds it perplexing trying to decide exactly who he should help and what degree of aid should rightfully be expected of him. Each person must decide for himself what his obligations are to his respective friends, family, and community. Before donating his time and money to those outside his immediate family and close circle of friends, he must decide what he can afford without depriving those closest to him. When taking these things into consideration, he must be certain to include himself among those who mean most to him. He must carefully evaluate the validity of the request and the personality or motives of the person asking it of him. It is extremely difficult for a person to learn to say no when all his life he has said yes. But unless he wants to be constantly taken advantage of, he must learn to say no when circumstances justify doing so. If you allow them, psychic vampires will gradually infiltrate your everyday life until you have no privacy left, and your constant feeling of concern for them will deplete you of all ambition.
One of the jobs that I'm working to get myself through college is at an upscale clothing store. And while I hate it, I do my best to do it well. In fact, last month, I opened more store brand credit cards than almost every other employee combined. 14, in fact, a store record. And sweet Satan, do I take pride in that. This is one of many examples of exercising what I like to call proportional pride. In an organization of driven people like the Church of Satan, it's easy for younger members such as myself to quickly feel inadequate. We look to members we are coming to know and enjoy talking to via the internet or happenstance, and we see countless examples of high achievement and craftsmanship. We see people writing books and running businesses whose products sell worldwide. We see people writing music and making delicious-looking food. We see high-quality visual art. It's easy to start thinking, damn, I have high goals too, and I like to think I'm doing some pretty incredible things. Why aren't I achieving the way they are? What do they have that I don't? I address this in my essay, Standing as a Child Among Giants. And Aden Arden addressed this before me in his book, Militant Eroticism, which is a book that I highly recommend to just about everybody. The answer is they do have something you don't. They have time. If you're anything like me, most, if not all, the Satanists that you have ever met were hailing Satan and working towards their goals at least a decade before you were born. Those years contain countless opportunities and lessons you simply haven't gotten around to creating for yourself yet. What troubles you is not that there is something wrong with you necessarily, it's that your greed has started to eat away at your pride. This is the path that I find most dangerous towards working towards my goals. The solution I have found in my own life is consciously exercising what I like to call proportional pride. Now, what is that? Well, it's congratulating yourself on something that you worked hard to accomplish, even if you don't find it all that impressive. It's exercising pride in proportion to that which you can conceivably accomplish and overcome given your skills, abilities, and opportunities in life. So what if you aren't all set to have a career at 17? Maybe you're finally making enough money to pay your own phone bill, and you don't have to listen to your parents yell at you about how much data you're using anymore. And so what if you can't get that certain awesome and particular guitar solo down? Maybe you just landed a date with someone you never thought you would, using a shitty rendition of Smoke on the Water. This is by no means an easy practice, and it took the advice of an older friend for me myself to start doing it. But since I've started, I have found myself much happier and much more productive. Now, this practice is all well and good, but never lose sight of the greed that made you feel inadequate in the first place. That is the black flame inside you driving you to do and be more. If you let your pride get in the way of your greed, that lack of drive is going to put you behind and you're going to underachieve. Then you're going to feel inadequate because you're not achieving at the level you should be, not because you think you are. In his upcoming book, The Sixth Millionaire, Reverend E.R. Werner presents the idea that if you're friends with 5 millionaires, you're bound to become the sixth. This isn't about conformity, it's about mindset. Reverend Werner points out that some of the qualities those 5 millionaires look for in their friends is that they are goal-oriented, they have a positive outlook for the future, and they are driven. Those 3 qualities are exactly what we were just discussing when it came to feeling inadequate. By looking at the success of other members and looking to see that level of achievement with your own goals, you have already proved to yourself that you have goals for the future. By being frustrated by how little progress you've made, you've shown that you're making an effort to achieve those goals, which requires some positive attitude towards the future, some drive, and some optimism in that you can achieve and even surpass them. Dysphoria as a result of seeing the achievement of others and not being at that level seems to be a byproduct of having that 6th millionaire's mindset. Those in poor neighborhoods are shown to see wealth more in terms of an inheritance or a lottery winning than long-term hard work. Those of us working towards something better, whether we are poor or not, are always setting goals and looking for the best way to work for a better future. So keep looking to those you admire and fuel the flames of your envy. Set goals to reach the next level of personal success, but do not lose sight of your happiness in the here and now. Don't fail in patting yourself on the back for doing what was difficult or important to you today. Take pride in the present, but be hungry for the future.
Just a young Satanist, yeah.
Welcome to the Daily Grind. There is one load that you most definitely will not want to blow improperly, and that is loading your dishwasher. First, you'll want to insert your plates into the slots on the bottom rack so that each one has space to be hit by the hot stream of water. Next, place your cups, glasses, and bowls at an angle on the top rack so that they can face the blast of water from underneath, but not get too full up. You don't want your cups to overflow, now do you? Well, I know mine do. So maybe that's not such a bad thing after all. You'll want to make sure to load all of your plastic items on the top rack, because things are about to get hot, and you wouldn't want them to melt. Now, before you pour your gooey, slippery dish soap into the hole in the inside of the door, make sure you don't have too big of a load crowding the machine. Now you can close the door and turn your dishwasher on. Who knew going from dirty to clean could be so much fun?
Okay, for episode 73, John, let's do something different. This show is growing, and I think we need to start expanding a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like a fungus. It gets stuck on things, and people give it to other people, and we're just kind of spreading around like a
contagious.
Like a good disease.
STD. All right.
It's like AIDS with a smile. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to introduce a new segment here, but before we get into that, let's have Adam introduce our guest this week.
All right, guys. So I thought artificial human companionship is something that would be an interesting discussion on the show. It falls as number 4 in the Pentagonal revisionism. So doing a little bit of research online, talking to a few people in the industry, I found somebody who's willing to come on and talk to us about artificial human companionship. He's an innovator and an entrepreneur in the industry. He owns CraftyFantasy.com and eSexDolls.com. And he's just a really interesting guy. And without further ado, here's Dave.
Dave.
Hey, guys.
What's happening, Dave? How you doing?
Good, guys.
That's
Glad
all.
to be on the show. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for taking the time out to talk to us.
Sure, man.
So I was... go ahead, Dorian. You go ahead.
No, you can do it.
All right, I'll go ahead. So I was looking at the websites, craftyfantasy.com, when no one was home. And I'm kidding. Somebody was home, but I was in a different room. Anyway, let me forget all that. I was checking out the websites. The ladies look amazing, especially Brooke. Tell us, how did you get into this thing?
Yeah, it all started a few years ago, and I have my story part of the About Us page on our website. For every guy, who gets either divorced or breakups, and then you try to get back into this dating scene. I was in that position as well, and I just did not, even no matter how hard I tried, I just was not successful in winning over women or the other opposite sex, so to speak. And it was very, devastating. It was very frustrating. So, one of my friends, he was into mannequin business, and these mannequins look so beautiful, so real. And I thought to myself, what if we could do we create something human-like, and that would, satisfy a guy's, primal sexual need, and he can get on with his life and not come across as needy, to other women. So that was how the whole idea got started with. Now, I can't say that I invented sex dolls. Sex dolls been in the industry for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
who was it? The Japanese?
Well, even before the Japanese, it was back in French and Spanish sailors when they used to go on ships, voyage for longer days.
Yeah.
These were hand woven, things that you could do that.
They give you a rash.
Exactly.
Start to chafe. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's how it all started, man. And I've been talking to so many guys. They just love this idea that, one of the worst things that can happen to you is if you're single and you're desperate and you approach a woman, and you don't look through all your neediness, all your this other sexual, intent come across, which makes you sort of like a pervert rather than a real human being. Right. I think that's what my products really help with. And then I found out it's not just the single guys, it's married couple guys, older people with fantasies, you name it.
Yeah,
So,
we know people that have them, so yeah.
yeah.
We should probably explain one of the points of why we reached out to you. I'm sure you probably at first were a little bit curious why this Church of Satan, people are trying to contact for you, and that is because of what's known as pentagonal revisionism. It's a 5-point program that essentially is something that we would like to see changes take place in the world in general to make it a better place. And one of those points is number 4 is the development and production of artificial human companions, the forbidden industry, an economic godsend which will allow everyone power over someone else, polite, sophisticated technology feasible slavery and the most profitable industry since TV and the computer, is how it's described in the. So, what you're making now, you're kind of in the kind of beginning phases, but I assume that technology is going to propel that from a doll to eventually an android, a walking, talking, interacting sort of being.
Yeah, and I totally agree, man. In fact, we just launched. We're actually about to launch. It's one of the first AI robot doll, and so far what it does is it moves eyes, it talks, and it moans, and
Nice.
and the body heats to a body, human body temperature.
Oh,
So,
that's good, because women are always cold. So,
so
Not on the inside.
yeah, so that would be the first step, what you're talking, and I'm sure this thing is going to move pretty fast to design one of the best AI robots.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you guys can make one that does the dishes, you got my money totally.
Hey man, yeah, not only dishes, probably more, right?
Yeah, a good steak.
Yeah, but I mean, John, really, like, would you have a problem doing the dishes if you had a doll below the sink giving you head while you're doing it? I mean,
yeah. Well, now see, now you're talking. I like the way you talk. That's what I like.
Can you make a Princess Leia in the slave costume doll?
Yeah, anything is possible, man.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, with all due respect to the dead, I think that would be a pretty big fantasy model there. So.
Oh man, that's funny. How about Jennifer Lawrence? Because she's not returning my calls, so I figured I'd just get a doll and fuck her anyway.
Yeah, it's strange, man. I get calls from some clients, and they're like, maybe their other half, best have passed away, or it was some ex-girlfriends who was only one-sided love. Probably she never loved him, but he's like, can you make something like that looks exactly like her? I don't know what his intention is. Maybe he just want to, beat the crap out of her, or,
whatever it is. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be just creepy, like to have like an exact duplicate of your wife, and every time your wife pissed you off, you just walked over and like backhanded the doll and just stare at your wife.
But no, that's essentially exactly what Dr. LeVay was talking about. You can do these sort of things. You have your doll in the garage. Your wife pisses you off. You're gonna, instead of hitting her and doing something that she doesn't deserve, you go out there and you take it out on this thing. It's just a healthy environment, man. It's really great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if you're staring at your wife while you're beating your wife look-alike with just cold dead eyes, I just think, I don't know.
That's creepy. Yeah.
So Dave, you got me curious now.
The wife is still gonna get mad because they consider doll as a woman, if it's like a living being, and she's like, oh, be nice to her, right. So you still end up in trouble.
So what's the most interesting customized doll you've made? Have you done like a pregnant girl or a transgender or?
That is interesting, man, because
that's what Adam wanted, a chick with dicks.
Yeah, that's why he asked that question.
Actually, Cheryl came up with that question.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe she wants. Well, forget it. Let's go.
But I guess what we have is we have something called an adapter that can change the sex from sort of like a transgender kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and I think a lot of people, whether couples, guys, even women, I believe, after observing a lot of these things, I think every girl is a lesbian to some extent.
Sure.
Everybody's gay once in a while.
Yeah. So so I have these, couples, women buy these dolls and they want this adapter where they can have a threesome, and interchange all that fantasies. I think that's very interesting.
Especially, I think the way the world is kind of going these days, where they're not only just being open to other sexualities, they're like inventing them daily. So I think just maybe that openness that people are experiencing right now can hopefully really transcend, because I'm sure that to some extent, I'm sure you've probably had to have some people who have given you some shit for making something that, people like want to deny their actual humanity and their sexuality sometimes, and I'm sure you've had to have some psychos give you shit over that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got some weird emails, things of that nature, but I just I'll just ignore that, man.
We get a lot of those. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know if you know this one group. I think it was called I forgot, man. It was something like men. It was men's group where they actually despise women because
the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
It was something like that, but
Yeah.
but they had a totally different name, and it was pretty popular.
No women allowed.
Yeah, I don't know what the name is. I forgot.
That's weird, though. Anyway, that's the thing, the beauty about it. You can be weird with these things. You could do whatever you want. You can fulfill fantasies and everything. So tell me about the mouth, though. Does it actually suck? Like a vacuum? Or like a penis pump?
I mean, basically we have two kinds. One is a mouth with a hole, which is an oral hole.
Yeah.
And because of the elastic nature, it kind of like, when you're doing oral with this hole, it kind of like creates a suction. And when
cock pump.
There you go.
Yeah. Good girl.
So
I saw John's, so I know how it works.
But what it also comes with an enhanced mouth. Enhanced mouth means it has a tongue, it has a partial jaw, that kind of thing as well.
How about lubricant, though? Like, do you have to keep squirting it in there, or do you have like a reservoir in there that it could like slowly release it? That'd be cool.
Yeah, no reservoir.
That's just a good idea, actually.
Oh, I have plenty of ideas. I just can't implement them. But yeah, that would be cool. Where you just have to fill it up. Like you change the oil. You just fill up with this lubricant. You got ass juice or whatever it's called in there. Boom, and it's good to go. And it just slowly, due to the pressure or something, has these little pinholes that release a little bit at a time. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea, man.
Yeah, it's yours, man. Just make it happen and send me one. Anyway,
you could bottle it as like sex doll saliva or something, and there you go. Now you've got aftermarket stuff to sell now.
Yeah, there you go.
Aftermarket.
Well, like you're selling the lubricant.
Oh yeah.
Other stuff to sell to maintain. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And this is something that we tell clients only use water-based lubricants because the material we use is silicone, TPE. They're derived from latex, and you can't use silicone-based lubricants on these because I think it'll eat up the material, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Is it like a Fleshlight?
Fleshlight, I've seen it, which is a lot softer, but this is a little bit on the firm side, but still feels like real skin.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right on.
Now, do you sell parts alone, or do they always go in the doll and you have to sell the complete doll?
For the most part, when we ship the doll out, the only thing that's separate is the head. And the reason that is that, let's say you particular like a busty.
You always pay extra for head.
And so in other words, I've had guys who order one particular doll with a B cup breast, C cup breast. We have all the way till H cup, and they order the extra head. So extra head, they fit in one head. And next week they want to switch that. They change a different head, and now it's a totally different doll.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That's. So then, when they order from the website, is it? Do you do kind of sort of like a pick and choose, like kind of build a doll sort of thing?
Yeah. So we have our new website coming up. Most probably next month, and there you will be able to customize. First, you will choose a body, that you like, and then you would pick a head out of maybe 30, 40 different heads. and then you pick your skin tone. Then you pick the eyes color. You pick hair. You pick nails. So pretty much by the time you're done, you're crafting your own fantasy woman.
Yeah, it's weird science.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So when you say nails, are they the silicone too, or are they hard, like so you can like scratch your nuts while you're?
Yeah, not the scratchy ones, but these are just normal plastic.
Yeah.
They just look good, man. Rather than scratch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you got to have the bright red nail polish.
You got to get the fingers to move and kind of just tickle the nuts. You just place them under there and it's nice.
There
like
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
What's the so now as you move into, I don't even know if you would know about this yet, but as we move into the future and you have more, say, moving parts, there's that fear that people could have of, oh, this thing's gonna clamp down and I'm toast. I'm gonna have to pry a mechanical robot doll off my dick.
Hey, that's the risk you take, man. It's not the fuck you face. It's the wait. Let me say that again. It's not the face you fuck. It's the fuck you face. So if you want to stick it in a vice, hey. Same thing with a glory hole. You don't know who's sucking on that other side.
That's right.
Yeah. But no,
it could be a goat.
Yeah.
So,
but it's amazing technology. What we're working on in future is that I'm sure you guys heard about VR, right? Virtual reality.
Yeah.
And a lot of this hype is coming up where you have these VR headsets, and there's a VR content that's coming up, and we're trying to tie up with a company that shoots the VR content. But again, a VR content is of course it's a next step. Watching a porn, which is 2-dimensional, now you're getting into VR. But now we're trying to combine the VR content with the doll. Yeah. So now you're watching something and you have something to grab on, and you can feel all that sensation.
I saw a video. I don't mean to interrupt. I saw a video of I think this guy looked Japanese. And he had the VR headset on, and he's looking at whatever he's looking at. They wouldn't show us, darn it. But he had like this, they look like one of those things that they use in the cows to milk them on his Johnson, and he was all strapped up, and he had like this thing in front of him that were fake breasts and all this stuff, and he was just like experiencing this thing,
Yeah.
And they drained him like a mother. After he orgasmed, it was like it just kept going. Like
harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
a lot. Girl. Yeah, I think a lot of interesting things coming up in the future, man. A lot of interesting things.
Is this gonna lead to like people just never leaving the house?
You know what I mean? Think about it. With all these devices, phones, things. It used to be totally different experience before interacting with other human beings. Now you go sit in some place, doctor's office, wherever you are. Everybody, rather than talking to each other, they just get their phone out of their ass and start checking Facebook, typing. Even the dating scene has been shifted to online and all that stuff, or sexting, whatever you want to call that. Yeah. So I think it is drastically going to change. Yeah.
I think it's because we're overpopulated, and we just have to find other ways to stop procreating. I don't know.
Well, that's a good thing, actually. Yeah. In fact, I think it would be much better if at least for the next 20 years, people just stop fucking humans and just start fucking your dolls.
Yeah.
I
got a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but let's say someone has the doll, and you know how like they think of it as a girlfriend, or like, hey, this is my lady, and I'm going out to dinner with her. Now, luckily, she's not going to eat anything, so you save money there. But what if he has her out, and he goes out in the street, and he's going down the alley to go back to his car, and then somebody comes out and rapes the doll? Is that illegal?
Um, well, I
It's
don't know
got to
about
be
the
some kind of like abuse to somebody else's property or something. I don't know.
yeah.
So you,
Weird
so you
one.
just get off with a simple little misdemeanor, vandalism charge.
Could
Right.
be, man.
There you go.
But the thing is, man, I think some of these guys take this thing very seriously.
Yeah.
You know, when they own this companion, and they call it a name, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we have names for them, but you can name something which is more, you know, dear to you, but then you get emotionally attached to this thing. So if
Yeah.
something was like that was to happen, I don't know how would that guy react. I mean,
I don't know, but you know
Yeah.
what I would say to him? I'd be like, dude, chill out. We're not going to hurt it.
yeah,
Just kidding.
No, I mean, but that's the point of total environment. Even is to kind of block out all of that and set up your own reality.
Yeah.
So these dolls are the same. Like I can see somebody, if that's your satisfaction, if that's your happiness, then you should have the right to maintain that
yeah.
the way that you want to.
And
Live your
to
own
me-
life.
Yeah, and to me, honestly, it seems like cloning because when I sell something which is like Venus or Alexa from our website, and I mean, probably I've sold many, but every time I sell those, it seems like a clone. I'm selling a clone of something, which it looks and feels exactly like, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's wait till we program it with certain brain chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow, that's going to be great. So, as far as customers go, I'm interested in knowing this. Do you ever have somebody that ordered a bunch of them so they can have like their own private little harem?
yeah. I got a bunch of guys like that. Probably one guy I think so far he has ordered 8 or 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're rich.
Well, I mean, I can't say rich, I mean, every business comes with their own expenses and
Yeah.
everything, and then you look at
Yep.
expansion and all that.
Yep.
You know this, John.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at your website here, and it
I'm sure
looks
you
like
are.
You you attended the AVN, and you built a Satan doll. Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
I think it was something that I found it. By the way, all those dolls that you see in that picture was designed, by me, and I wanted to give each doll a different persona.
Nice.
And so the 2 dolls sitting in the very back, I did one as a devil and an angel. And same thing, the one photo that I sent you for the vampire girl,
Yeah.
I personally like that because, I don't know, it's different philosophies, but I think that is something I found women to be manipulative, in a lot of ways.
No.
They
Really?
But then it was a different philosophy that I thought about that. I think so. It was just very appealing that I wanted to dress up one like that.
Yeah.
And also that one particular doll we have is with elf ears.
Yeah, I saw that. It's cool.
Yeah.
That's my appease my Lord of the Rings fantasy.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
wanted to fuck a gelfling. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Hobbit name is Bono.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. But it was a lot of people liked it though. Yeah, a lot of people liked it.
So how long were you doing this stuff? How long have you been doing it?
I would say almost this is going to be my 5th year.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
And you started the whole company yourself, right? Everything right off of your own dime?
Yeah.
Wow. Good on you, man.
Yep. You got to have some funny stories about some interactions with these dolls.
Or customers' interactions with these dolls.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Let us hear those.
I mean, I'll tell you, man. A lot of people that I deal with, they probably don't have the funny side when they when they come to me with their problems. But
I guess maybe that's understandable, because for us and for our philosophies, we actually don't really see it as a shameful thing, or as a problem, as much as why not kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to make a larger vagina for someone that might be too buku?
I get that question, but then but we only have a certain depth. I think it's probably 7.5 inches deep. But yeah, some guys like, oh, can you make it bigger? I said, well,
I blew out the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you want to pay for the whole design, which is really expensive.
Literally a whole design.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that people ever order I know you have certain models that you build off of, but I guess maybe people ever ask for there's different fetishes. Anyone ever ask for like a fat one or a midget one or anything like that?
Yeah. We actually do have a fat woman, which probably coming on a new site.
Nice.
So yeah, some guys like fat woman, man.
Yeah, man, because then she can handle the John Shaw sticking. You know what I mean?
Little junk in the trunk.
Whoops. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you got me thinking about holes now. Like, what's the inside? Is it smooth? Is it ribbed for my pleasure? Is it, what is it?
It's ribbed. Yeah.
Nice. Good man.
Yeah.
And it's straight, though? Is it, like, perfectly straight? Does it curve up like a banana? Does it, you got any, like, squirrely ones, like a cat dick?
Custom curve to the left?
Yeah. Anything like that? Anything corkscrew? What about corkscrew? That might be good.
Yeah. No, it's curved, and we also have something called fixed versus removable. And removable is just insert, that it's easy to clean. People, when you're done with your thing, you take it out, clean, put it back in.
Yeah.
But
there's actually a fair amount of science that has to go in this. There's a lot you have to think about, even like from safety precautions and cleanability. And I mean, it's not just a simple, hey, build a doll. There's a lot to think about.
And a lot of people, there's a whole very lengthy process that goes behind it. These ones have metal skeleton, which means you can pose them, in a certain way, and they'll hold it. We did a photo shoot here in Atlanta, and we hired some real models that to do photo shoots with these dolls. And I remember, one of these girls had one of these dolls in a doggy style position, and she was riding it, and she could hold the weight. So yeah, it's
perfect.
Yeah.
Now, when we say artificial human companions, sometimes when I read that, sometimes it doesn't always mean artificial human companions, but more like an artificial human companion. So like pets and things like that. Do you ever think of getting into things like that? Or what about, as a second part to the question, and I don't condone this at all, I think it's disgusting, but there's guys out there that want to fuck a goat. I know what that's like. But instead of fucking a real goat, boom, here's your goat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, well, I haven't had a request that yet.
I just have these weird ideas.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We can have Megan build those, though.
Yeah, we have a taxidermist friend that she's the hottest taxidermist you'll ever meet. But anyway, she's so she can make the goat and you can make the corkscrew vagina.
There you go. Yeah.
So easy are these dolls to maintain and clean, though? Seriously.
Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, we do provide a cleaning kit, so to speak, inside the box. It's sort of like a water douche kind of thing. You squirt the water in, clean it out, those kind of thing. And then it's easy to wash with the antibacterial soap. So, for hygiene things,
Better than having to clean your sock.
Yeah. So it's pretty easy.
So it's easier to I mean, it's better to clean it immediately afterward, right? Because you don't want it to get all flaky. Yeah.
Residue.
Yeah, you don't want to leave those.
Put it in the dishwasher.
Like a lot of guys like to have sex and then pass out. It's not a good idea to pass out, right? To clean that thing out.
Build up that bacteria inside, you know.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of guys, though, these are also, I mean, like literally companions. These are guys. These dolls will sit on the couch next to a man who will, have a conversation, talk about his day, watch movies with. It's not just. It's not. I mean, granted, obviously, there's
exactly
sex involved, but
yeah, and it could be like, "What's the weather like?" Boom, she knows, and how I need directions to something, and she's going to give him to directions, just like Siri, but with a body.
Well, which you're not going to get from a real woman anyway. It's just, so it's no difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of these guys, that buy from me, they're probably lonely, and I think having something like this. Now, here's my first experience. When I had this in a room, it was freaky. It was like someone is sitting there, and it's real, looking at you, staring at you.
I'm sure a lot of people would feel that way, at least.
Yeah, and then after a few minutes, you end up talking to the doll, as if it's a real person. So, yeah, I think a lot of people take it that way.
Nice.
What made you decide? I mean, like, had you seen other versions of these, and that made you think, I could make these?
Other versions. So I mean,
something that whatever it is that inspired you to start your own dolls.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the doll concept has been in the industry for a long time. In Japan, if you ever travel, they actually have something like a sex shop, and that's what I heard, where you walk in and you choose your doll. You pay for the room or whatnot. You get done and you get out.
A brothel.
A sex doll brothel.
Wow.
And you don't even have to clean them. They clean them, right?
They clean them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's their job. But so this concept has been in the industry for a long time. But then now I got into creating my own creation. So Venus, for example, you look at, that's my own. Face, my own, creation, those kind of things. Now I'm getting into something. I'm sure you heard about 3D printing, which is coming up in the industry. So now we're trying to get into where I can scan a face or a body within a matter of 30 minutes or even less than that, and then produce a mold cast in less than 2 hours.
Wow.
And that would look exactly like that person. So
so you could do the Bruce Jenner one where you can decide if it's
Bruce.
So, what is it, Caitlyn? Caitlyn, is that it? Caitlyn's in it.
I think it's Bruce again. Who knows? I got a good question, and this, I might be like talking way ahead of the time here. I think I am, actually, because I don't think the technology exists. But here's something you could think about. Maybe if you pass it down to your business down to someone. What about having like an actual human incubator in there, where when you shoot it in, boom, she's pregnant and she can actually carry it full term inside of her. A baby.
What? Well, I mean, you gotta put some eggs in there first.
Yeah, you have to purchase an egg somewhere, and it gets all.
Yeah, I think you're way ahead, dude.
Not yet. A little too early.
Yeah, too early, man.
All right.
That's too early.
What about faking it with air? Like, boom, and all of a sudden she can look pregnant, and then, the stomach will come down when he doesn't want to fuck a pregnant chick or something. Just fantasies.
Pump some air, that kind of thing.
And so some guys like to fuck pregnant chicks because they're glowing.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Yeah.
I'm just shooting ideas out there, man. You just run with them,
That's a good idea, man. Yeah. I mean, when you look at all these different genres that people watch, Pornhub and all those, sex scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pregnant woman.
Yeah, nowadays it's all incest.
What?
It on the. I mean, obviously it's totally fake.
What
like
are you
they're
looking
always,
at?
They somehow they call each other bro and sis.
What are the keywords you're using, Dorian?
Yeah.
What are the keywords when you're searching? What do you use?
I don't use any.
Yeah, all right. No,
It's
but
like on the the homepage.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, the featured ones. But
It's always
seriously,
like
maybe a cavity in there that you pump up with air, because one day he'll be like, what's it like to fuck a pregnant chick? Boom, and then he wants it to go away because we don't want them to be pregnant that long.
Yeah. And then I get requests. This one request I got from somebody was, can you design like a zombie? And honestly, this he sent me a photo of this zombie. It was scary. It was scary as hell.
Wow.
And I asked, I said, do you mind if I ask you, do you need it for like a movie, film, something? He said, no, for sex purposes. I'm like, whoa, it was pretty scary.
He could probably. Now I'm sure, I don't know. You can tell me, but with these dolls, could you apply your own makeup to it, like special effects makeup or something like that?
You can. I mean, but it's very hard to find silicone paint that goes on these dolls.
Well, I mean, like temporary, like makeup.
Yeah.
Because then you could make it. You could change the makeup look, but you could for Halloween make it a zombie, and then
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked for a Trump doll?
No, not yet, man.
Just wondering.
Yeah.
So
But
which doll
Melania-
is your best selling?
Huh?
Which doll is the best selling on your website?
The best selling, I would say, I mean, it's a Kim doll we have, which is she's Asian. It's a light tan skin tone.
Yep.
Very cute face. I would say, I've sold a lot of those. But again, every guy has its own fantasy. Some like white skin, some like light tan skin tones. Some guys are Asian, all that stuff. But I would say, yeah, Kim is probably one of the hot sellers I have. Yeah.
I got another idea if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
You have like a some kind of recording thing that comes out from her mouth, of course, and she's saying this thing, but only when you go in deep and hit that 7.5 inch mark, it pushes, the tip of your peni, pushes a little button, and she goes, "Aye."
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah. Well, we had that technology where, we have dolls that can moan. It used to be a remote control, which felt really, really weird. So then we came up with a technology where you actually squeeze the breast or you hit the breast, and the doll starts moaning.
Nice.
And so your button technology. Now the new robot doll that's coming up, if you touch her feet, or you touch her vagina, or you touch her breast, that's where she starts moaning. And the more you start hitting her, the moaning sound starts growing and growing and growing to a climax.
Wow.
So,
do you have any that say, "Ow, you're on my hair"?
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
Or how about, is that all
Who's
you
the
got?
king? Who's the king?
Yeah.
Is that all you got? Oh, that's funny.
Sit in yet.
Or yeah.
Yeah, you got some that just humiliate people. Just let me know when it's in.
You know what? That would appeal to somebody, like just a bitchy,
dude, yeah.
a bitchy one.
Oh yeah.
We in fact had a
You hit like a girl.
Voice, a voice chip where you can actually record something and you can upload and she would say it back. So if you want your name for her to say back when you're actually hitting her, I think that's a possibility. Yeah.
But it's not your own voice, is it? That would be kind of weird.
Yeah, no, not your voice, but it's more for girls. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So what do you got in the works, like, that you might want to mention or tease people with? Like, what's the big thing coming out that you got, like a big secret and you want to
It's gonna be a male one with a shake weight attachment.
Oh,
A shake weight.
yeah.
Anything?
Well, I mean, I think what we're trying to get into is a porn stars, fan clubs.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was at the Avian show, I met some porn stars, and
Like
that's
Belladonna?
what we were trying to get into 3D printing technology now, where some and I'm sure there's a lot of fans for a particular porn star, and that's something. If we can make that affordable, I think that would be something. To think
Yeah,
about.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think in like a lot of sex shops, I think they sell things. I don't know how accurate it is, but they'll sell. They'll get some porn model to model or
The
part of
blow-ups?
body. Yeah, well, there's that, or there's like just the vagina section, or an ass, or something like that. Like it's just a rubber, whatever.
Balloon
Yeah.
knot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
So
weird,
I mean,
man. I mean,
sure, I could see some of them saying, "Yeah, let's make me into an actual doll and make me more money."
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's all about affordability, but I think if we can make it affordable, a lot of fans would love that. Rather than just masturbating, watching a porn video, they can actually, do it on her.
Yeah. Yeah, smart move undercutting the competition, totally. Because you'll make
Yeah.
money through volume.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm sure you guys know Real Doll in California. Their dolls are pretty pricey, and I think they're also working the similar technology, all that stuff.
They just announced a new technology, I think. I'm trying to remember what I saw. Something with a V, aptly enough. But something with a V, and I can't remember what. Vocative?
What's the premise?
It just says vocative added a new video, Darknet, the challenges
Oh,
of
yeah,
building,
yeah.
yeah, meet your future
And-
sex bot girlfriend from Real Doll. It's a documentary
that-
series or something.
Well, if you the doll that they shot was
shot
our
one?
doll.
Oh,
The video shoot.
yeah.
So if you see that video and where this Asian guy is sitting with the doll, you will see it says Alexa by Crafty Fantasy.
Oh
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that was in fact I think they're going to launch today or something on TV show. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on. So you're an
Showtime.
innovator.
I think it's on
then.
Showtime or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Showtime Networks. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
But,
Yeah, they
Very
so
cool.
I actually shipped them to New York, doll from here. And then so they used our doll, but then they were talking about the other AI technology about the Real Doll company.
How much do your dolls weigh?
I would say the weight comes with the height. So on an average 5 feet, 5.1 feet tall doll, they weigh about 65 to 70 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So you got to get like a special carrier or something, right? Or do you just throw her over your shoulder and bring her out there to the backyard and stick a hose in her butt when you clean her out?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have some. You gotta have some muscle, man.
Nice.
These are heavy. Yeah, and that's what make them more realistic too, though.
Yeah, they gotta have some weight to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does the box look like that comes to your house?
It's they come in two different kind of boxes. One is just a plain hard cardboard box. The length is the same as the height of the doll. So if you ordered a 5-foot doll, it's going to be a 5 feet long, 2 feet wide, one foot high. And then we have a wooden box, something that looks like a musical instrument case, hard case. It got wheels, it got handles, so you can put a lock on it. So there's a couple of options, yeah.
Nice.
So they're standing up in the box. You don't have them like sitting down to save space or anything, or in like a fetal position.
No, they're lying flat on their
okay.
back.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right on.
Like they should. That's good.
Yeah. My question was, how? So I know you guys we're looking, someone in the doll industry to interview.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of thought process do you think that my products can fit in with your, listeners? Listeners, and how can we help them bridge the gap if there's any?
Aside from the artificial humans having your own companions like that, one of the aspects to pentagonal revisionism is a total environment, and that is basically like having a place, whether it's your whole home or a certain section in your home, where it's the world that you want to live in, and that can be anything that you've ever fantasized about. And there's a lot of pictures of Anton LaVey having his
Den of Iniquity.
His Den of Iniquity is little. It looked like a little bar, like a little speakeasy, when he had mannequins set up all over there, and he basically, just go and escape from what the world was becoming, sort of like the holodeck on Star Trek, setting up like your own little world the way you wanted, and that is that's a very important part of Church of Satan's philosophy. So there's a lot of possibility for your products to be used, not only as far as somebody who wanted to sexually, but also as just setting up their total environment in their homes.
Right.
Just to go in further, like Dr. LaVey had a mannequin set up down there, and he did all the work himself too. And she was sitting on the floor, and her panties are half off, and she peed on the floor, and like just sloppy looking and drunk and stuff. And he surrounded himself with what he enjoyed, was that element of life and stuff like that, where he didn't have to go somewhere else in the world and be in danger or get a DUI from driving from a bar or wasting too much money. He or for whatever the reason, he had set up his own thing to go and escape and be in a time capsule or of sorts to keep your mind at where you want it to be, instead of being bombarded or spoon-fed stuff from outside.
Which is another good aspect about it, is like you said, time capsule, like where you can relive the good old days, or maybe, like I've seen things on TV where people have created like an entire Old West setup on their property, or people who set up a whole Star Trek spaceship looking room in their house. This all contributes to that for us. To us, that's it's kind of a why not? Why not live the life that you want to live? Who cares what other people think?
Yeah. Here's another idea. People might like the 1920s, and they love that sort of look and all this stuff. You get one of your girls dressed up like that, and she's actually black and white. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
And if you ever did like the Wizard of Oz thing, you can make Julie Garland in black and white and in color, because there you go.
Yeah. With some munchkins. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
And is there a certain looks that's more appealing
Gothic
to your group? Gothic look?
Yeah. Well, that's just one. That's just one.
That's going to be across the board. It's going to be different. We kind of champion individualism, so everybody's going to be very different about that. You certainly have dolls already that are going to appeal, and even like your vampire one is definitely going to appeal to plenty of people. But that can go the range of, and this can be as simple as clothing changes. Right. Somebody might want to say, I'd like to have a date with a 50s pinup girl.
Oh yeah, totally.
Things like that. Like, that's. I think by supplying the doll, you've opened up the door to all kinds of possibilities, because people can change them simply by changing their clothes.
And think about this as well. Let me add to this. You go on your site, you go on any other doll sites and stuff like that. But definitely on your site, because it's much cheaper. But they all look like porn stars. They all do. They don't look like the girl next door. And a lot of guys out there want that girl next door, that babysitter look. The the girl outside reading a book with sweatpants on. I want to attack that. So what I mean. Just things like that, normal looking and just not so beautiful.
That's true.
Not too beautiful, because no one looks like that.
Yeah. And you said it right, man. Our focus is on the girl next door kind of thing, not just the porn stars, because I think you watch enough of that on porn hubs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But I think, yeah, I think it's a very what you just said is, even though we're getting into virtual reality, this is something, creating your own fantasy environment, and I think that's very appealing, and I can connect with that.
Yeah.
You come home and something that you absolutely like on a woman, a certain kind of dress, whether it's panties, whether it's something that kind of like kicks on your emotions, and you come home and then you kind of like feel at peace.
Especially since she doesn't judge you for that.
Exactly.
When you come home, like, if you're at work all day with, people who are telling you have to be like us, you have to be like the herd, and yet, otherwise you're an outcast. And all you want to do is you want to go home to this place that you set up where, you don't have to be like them because you have your own special loves and your own special interests, and you don't need to be judged for that. And that's where these dolls come into play.
Yeah, very true, man. Very true.
Can you tattoo any of the dolls or pierce them? Because some guys are into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. We can put tattoos on them, and then we can also pierce them. Yeah, it's all
Interesting.
Yeah, so you get like a nice, chick with a half-shaved head, and yeah, man, that's some guys. That's nutty, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, endless possibilities, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
That's all
we also have torso dolls. For some people who have space issues. Where I'm gonna put this doll. So we have dolls where don't have legs, or we also have just the legs. So endless possibilities, man.
I don't want her looking at me, damn it.
I want a lamp now. I want a lamp with like no legs. It's just a torso, but it's a lamp.
Yeah.
I just need don't mind me. I just need a new lamp. Anyway, yeah. No, I mean, I just we want to thank you for coming on. I mean, it's just been eye-opening and other openings.
Yeah. Let's throw out the websites there too.
Yeah, if anybody wants to go there and spend their money wisely, it's craftyfantasy.com, spelled out just like it sounds, and esexdoll.com. E as in Edward. esexdoll.com, craftyfantasy.com. Go there now. Check out Brooke. That's my only advice to you, because how you doing?
Just correction, it's esexdolls.com.
Plural. esexdolls.com. Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I said. No, I'm kidding.
But no, great, man. Yeah, it was great being on the show and chatting with you guys, and I definitely love the sense of humor, man. Yeah.
Us too. Man. We love that too. So listen, get my number from Adam and call me. I got a bunch of ideas.
Sure. Yeah. And if there's anything that you guys want crafted, something.
Boy, actually, I just thought of something. I mean, a lot of people, this could actually work for a lot of people as an altar as well.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really discussed that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
So, just for, I guess just for Dave's understanding here, in satanic ritual, sometimes a woman, a nude woman can play the part of an altar, where she just basically just lays on a table and she becomes the focal point of that ritual. And
adds to the emotion
and for those who would want to have access to that at all times, even as a ritual at home by themselves, to have one of these dolls in their home to play the part of that. I mean, that would be pretty amazing. Actually, that could be. I think you could get a lot of people that have interest in that. So
I would, because I have a huge altar in my home, and Megan Machine's going to be nude on it at the end of this month at my event, and when she goes, it's just going to be red velvet bedding up there with nothing up there. So I definitely probably need one of these.
There.
Yeah.
That would
be great to have up there.
Yep.
Do they get dusty? You got to dust them off a lot.
Skeletal, right? It's got the skeletal, so you can kind of pose it as you want on the altar.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
It's actually awesome.
Yeah, guys.
All right. Sorry, just had to add that in.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point. Yeah.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah. So, anything I can help you guys or your listeners or anything, just let me know. Anything. My whole thing is, liberation, man. Anything that can help people
that's what
liberate.
We're all about.
That's what. That's exactly.
Liberate from this day-to-day bullshit and get on with their lives and get on with their, what they want to focus on.
Their pleasure, their happiness. Yeah.
Happiness, pleasure, their passion. I think that's what I'm all about. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So Dave, definitely after this is released this weekend, make sure you go to the Devil You Know podcast channel on YouTube, and I'm sure you're going to see comments. So if you want to pipe in there and talk to these guys and ask questions, because they do that a lot, that'd be definitely a place to go.
Sure. Yeah. Please send me a link to that. And
yeah.
I'll take care of that for you.
Awesome.
Right on, man.
All right, Dave. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll talk to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great
all
talking
right, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Okay. Bye-bye.